Recorded Books and R.B. Digital present Expect Great Things, The Life and Search of Henry David Thoreau, by Kevin Dann, narrated by Norman Dietz. Chapter 1. Declarations of Independence. This town, too, lies out under the sky, a port of entry and departure for souls to and from heaven. Journal, July 10th to 12th, 1841. The 12th of July, 1817, saw the arrival of the first of those sultry, sweaty summer days that Concord's farmers knew as dog days. Their almanacs marked these as beginning July 3rd and ending August 11th, the 40-day period preceding the rising of the dog star Sirius. But they knew that the first furnace blast of austral air could come a week or more on either side of the 3rd. This was good grass-growing weather. Red-top, herd's grass, sheep's fescue, and Canadian bluegrass, and the ripening rye and wheat presented a checkerboard of greens, purples, reds, and golds. Working the fields were haymakers in white shirts and straw hats, occasionally setting aside their scythes and calling out to one another. Cynthia Dunbar Thoreau had moved to the Virginia roadhouse when she was 11, after her widowed mother had remarried. From her bedroom in the northeast corner of the second floor she could hear the haymakers out on the Bedford levels. Their swishing scythes sent ground-nesting mother birds and their young aloft for safety. She heard bobolinks, killdeer, meadowlarks, and sparrows. Kingbirds twittered from the fence-posts, and a yellow throat sang ecstasy, ecstasy from a nearby alder thicket. As dusk fell, and a solitary singing toad or soaring nighthawk occasionally broke the quiet, she could hear the lowing of the cows, the cackling of geese, the beating of a far-off drum, their neighbor Joe Merriam whistling to his team. Years later she would recall that she used to get up at midnight when all in the house were asleep and sit on the doorstep. Then she could hear nothing in the world but the ticking of the clock in the house behind her. At some unknown hour on July 12, 1817, Cynthia Thoreau's newborn son uttered his first cry, joining his voice with the chorus of dog-day sounds. His mother's memories were among the few images that David Henry Thoreau ever recorded from his boyhood. She once told him that his Uncle David, for whom he was named, had died when he was 6 weeks old, and that when Dr. Ezra Ripley submerged him, at just 3 months old, in the baptismal waters, he had not cried. Nor had he cried when, knocked unconscious after falling down a flight of stairs, she had tossed 2 pails of water on his head to wake him up. She also recalled that he had cut his toes once with a hatchet, been knocked over by a rooster. On another occasion he was kicked down by a passing ox. It was not surprising that his mother should have selected these falls and missteps as the highlights of her son's youth. As his caretaker, the accidents happened on her watch, and they marked the moments when his life seemed particularly precarious, haphazard. Thoreau's own memories of his boyhood stood in sharp contrast, conveying instead a distinct sense of purposefulness. He had pointed recollections of having been sent at the age of 10 to fetch huckleberries for a pudding for some special dinner guest, and unwaveringly adhering to his self-imposed rule to never eat one until his pail was full. Going a-graping was another early memory. For the rest of his life he would point out the particular vine in Walden Woods where he had picked his first wild grapes as a boy. Foraging became his special talent, as did the celebration of wildness and the freedom that such early expeditions afforded him. "I would not now exchange such an expansion of all my being for all the learning in the world," he later declared.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?